All right. So, um, some of you may know that we've got a number of projects going, and one of them is called Project Acceleration. And I don't think it's just to that project. It is, things are just speeding up so much in terms of the information coming through every morning. And, I couldn't wait to try to disseminate this to you because it's important that we start working on it right away. So here's the deal. Here's the dealio that came through really strongly today. And I mean, literally, yeah, I'm just going to read this to you. And I'm wondering if any of you are feeling this. I don't feel it so much. I'm just able to track it. I'm aware of it. Things, but I have to really keep on things. It says there is a downward compression that's hiding behind the gravitational pull that we have here. So there's always this sense, you know, if I just relax my arm, it just falls. Anything that's in this room right here is on the ground because of gravity. And there was some kind of hoax at the set. It's really interesting. They were choosing sometime in August that gravity was going to cease and desist for 7 seconds sometime in August. And, you know, buildings would rise and then crash down and, all of that. But it got me thinking about gravity. And and I've been looking at how the pyramids were made, and that now they're finding tablets that say, use sound. The Sumerians were going, use sound, dummy. Why would you ever try to pull a 20-ton thing with a bunch of humans those people were small too. They were maybe, 5'8" at the most. That would be tall for them. So gravity, in a way, is what binds us to the earth. That's great. But behind it, there's a ruse. And it pulls you down to 3D, yes, but also 3D consciousness. Now, I'm going to tell you something. One time I was at the office. It was a Saturday, it was a long, long time ago, and I just was feeling sleep. I was trying to do notes and pay bills and things. And I felt really sleepy, and I laid on my table, my treatment table, and all of a sudden I started to lift off the table. But would I really get to enjoy that and really just keep going? No, at that moment, an 80-year-old woman, about, I'm going to say, about 15 seconds into it, where I'm just literally feeling the table just kind of, she starts banging on the door. We're closed on Saturdays. Bang, bang. And I go, she'll go away, she'll go away. She wouldn't go away. And I just thought, now I know why. And I opened the door. I said, excuse me. She goes, I need to see a chiropractor right now. And I go, it's Saturday. We're closed. I know, but I need to see one right now. And I go, come in. I'm like, because she ruined the moment. But that wasn't just it. There were three other times with patients. One person, apparently it happened twice, one person once. They just started lifting up the table. Now, I don't really know how that happened or why. It must have been something about my energy. It hasn't happened since. Um, I'm I'm curious about that, and I've thought about it. But now, since this communication came through, and the sense, the pull down, because we've been talking about the pulsing of frequency in. I'm going to explain more about that because we have a pull and a pulse. But that pull down into 3D, it's energetic. It's not just gravity. Gravity's fine. And it keeps you, and what's interesting about this whole thing, I'm discovering, I'm realizing that we all got suckered into the karmic wheel. And here's what I'm going to say. I have very, very good memory of being another in other systems. I've remembered probably close to 100, and you don't have to keep coming back. You go there, you live, you experience, you take in, you go, oh, interesting. And I had lessons. I had lessons on all of them. And a lot of times the lesson was, here, I'm here to bring this to you. And they're like, no, thank you. And I personally know three people, myself included, who we got blown up. We were, considered a force of the planet, on the planet, whatever it was, and we got blown up. This is how you took care of things. You just probably, nuclear fusion or something like that. But this whole thing, like when people die and they go and see the light, it's all built into the system by the controllers. And you go and once you go to that light and go through it, you're back in the karmic wheel until somehow you see your way through. And a number of people I know, myself included, said, I'm not really coming back to the old earth ever again. If there's a new earth and I'm still supposed to serve, I'll come back, but I'm not doing the karma thing. And I'm going to really encourage you to start unwinding your personal history. You think, oh, so and so did that to me. Well, that is history. And you look at it, you flick it away. Okay. So this whole thing about I did this and I did that and I have to, no. Everybody who came here, who comes here, does the very best they can, or they would do better. Even the people who do really, really bad things, some things were done to them, or they were born psychologically, they were born with an issue. So this there is a very heavy burden of 3D. It's like, you go other places and you don't have to work this hard to be present. Okay? Here you have to be fed, you have to house, you have to survive, et cetera, et cetera. So this heavy burden of 3D is just a what is. However, what I notice when I'm able to shift this out of 3D, there's a very interesting flow that happens. It's a lot less effort. Things occur to me. Now go to the store. Okay, there's the things you want. Now go do this. Okay. And while you're at it, why don't you make these two things so that during the week you can be in 5D doing what you're here to do? Okay. So it's an interesting thing how we are wired from the very, very beginning of being here. We are wired to survive. We are wired to be afraid that we're not going to survive. The pull down frequency is manufactured to create conflict externally out there, the wars, etc., and internally, that conflict that you have inside. Oh, I might not be enough. Or what if no one invites me? Or what if I never get married? Or what if I get cancer? All that stuff. All of that insecurity. Will I survive? It is manufactured. Thoughts are placed in your head. Um, the worst is going to happen. Paranoia. But that is fed in. That is fed in. Ego rate reactivity. And this comes from I'm superior, I'm inferior. So that creates the conflict. And we see that all over the world. And then, of course, we have unrest and war and division and just the whole thing. It's quite something. And then there's the emotional encasement, right? We're emotionally encased in our stuff. And in that emotional encasement, right? It's kind of digs at us. And if you go to sleep at night and you have these dreams, and the dreams are not freeing, they're mishmash. Every once in a while, you have a beautiful light one. But, this friend of mine, that I actually took her through this whole process today. She said, "Oh, I'm in this very high place when I'm dreaming, and then as I'm coming back, I hit this wall and it all goes downhill from there." Well, I went and looked at it. That wall had been installed because she was a very, very light being, and she's a reality designer. She can create, she could design a very beautiful reality. That's what she is. And no. So that happens. So we're encased in this emotional, oh, well, this and that happened to me. And and it's our personal history. And this is why I'm like this, because this happened to me when I was 12. Yes, and it's history now. It is no longer in the now. And I mean, I just even today was thinking about something and I went, excuse me, that's history. Phew. Call it what is it? It's just history. It's not happening now. You, if you're here, if you've signed up, if you said, okay, you're way, way more than that. You, well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, you and everybody you've ever encountered did the best they could, or else they would have done better. Something was done to them. They did it to you. Maybe you did it, maybe you internalized it and you keep doing it to yourself, or maybe you did it to somebody else. This is this whole karmic thing, and we have to say no to it. But to say no to it, you have to become the observer because it's too easy with that pull down, that pull down to get sucked back into it. And I get sucked back into it every Monday. And I find like, no, why? Who cares? It's Monday. It's a beautiful day. I get to be with my beautiful people Monday mornings. I finally busted it. And I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. No, this is a waste of my personal energy. And for us to go into that kind of thinking or that kind of encasement and identifying ourselves as that, it's a waste of our personal energy. And let me tell you, we've got to start storing our personal energy. Can't, you have to just see who you're spending time with, what the activities are, because you could go and say, hang out with that family member or that friend that just sucks it out of you. And you're going to have to start setting boundaries for you and say, oh, how can I give you, I'm going to listen to you for 10 minutes. Go. I'm going to give you my full attention. At the end of 10 minutes, you go, it's 10 minutes. I love you. And here's what I love about you. Blah, 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 blah. And you fill in the void with that. I learned that technique a long time ago. It's really super powerful. Now, the other thing that we have to know with this emotional encasement is that love is an entanglement. I am love? No. Love you. Oh, I love you. Now, there are expressions of it that reflect on the one. So, I am love. And then you're with that person and they hold that. They hold that. And we are one. We are one. And we hold that. And it's not to say, I'm not saying don't be in relationships. What I'm saying is, it can be an entanglement that sucks your energy, whether it's family, friends, or your partner, or your dog, probably. If you're too like this, you've got to go, ooh, how can I stand here and just be love? Way more, way more potent, way more potent. And then, yes, hugs and, kisses and all that stuff. But we have this society, oh my gosh, this just the movies and the media, and you have to dress a certain way, and you have to, if you're not looking like this and you have to put yourself down, wow, it's really part of the pull down. And of course, then that leads us to mental issues and depravity. And I heard something in my head today. I heard something, and I'm like, you just blew it. It was so clear to me that something had crept in there. I go, you blew it. And I had to go, now I'm going to really carefully think about what you have to go do for the good of all. And I don't remember what it was, but I thought of something really, really that was going to be very empowering to someone. Hmm. Someone's. So if you catch one of those thoughts, you stop it and you go, I caught you. Now I want you to go work for the good of all on that person who's having a hard time. I want you just to create a boundary for her or protection or, something like that. You'll know intuitively. Okay, now the pulse. Now I've been feeling and being asked to notice and to absorb the pulse coming in. So in the morning, I sit in this very chair and I just close. Sometimes my eyes are open. I mean, I can do it right now. It's that incoming frequency. I'm going to do it right now. Hmm. Now I feel it coming into my second chakra. Why? Because I'm a woman. That's where I need to store my personal power. So it is a pulse. It is related to 5D. It's related to the quantum. The quantum, I just read this and I'm like, oh my gosh, this finally makes sense. The quantum is feminine. 3D is by nature masculine and linear because the male, well, if you look through history, you just get it. And this is, I know that we have beautiful men with us tonight. It's not what I'm not talking to you, but the male aspect is linear and it will create polarity and there will be conflict, there'll be war. And we've had enough of it. And a lot of those were like, well, we needed to have that war because they were doing this to us and we were just protecting, our family. Fine, done. It's not working. And oh my gosh, when I think of what it's done in the last 2 or 3 years to people who are just going about their life, it's a lot to absorb. So and we're going to do a meditation tonight, but I had to give you this information because you've got to find a practice. You got to relate to some of this or all of it and practice, okay? So there's a moment and you can be looking out the window. I find if I nod my head slightly, it's like wah, wah, wah. I'm open to receiving. I am I am a place to receive divine feminine. I'm receiving it on the quantum. I'm not feeling it emotionally. I'm not feeling it sensorially. It's a pulse that is aligning me with the quantum field, but it's actually offering, sharing. It is Part of it, it's educating my frequency to be quantum. That's A. The second part of it is there is some encodement in it. There's encodement. There's encodement right there. And, you know, I just move my hands sometimes. And the message is you've got to store up as much of this energy as possible so that you have enough consciousness to get through the challenges that are going to pop up for you and out there. So men, take it into your uh your third chakra and just allow it to hone and and qualify your power. And male power is power over. So you have to have power over yourself, power over the ego, not others. Women, power from within. So you have to pull in that energy, pull it in, pull it in. And then then that's going to come out in a way that's going to unify, unify. Now, yes, we have masculine and feminine in us, and maybe you have more of one and more of the other. I'm going to leave that to you. Okay. So then today, here comes something that I've known about for a very long time and I have put aside in a way because there's so many, when you study, all the different spiritual practices, most of them in the world, not so much the religions, but studied them and got involved with them, in my youth. This was one of them, the Central Spiritual Sun, and really also in resonance with the Christos and the Buddhic frequencies coming through. So the Central Spiritual Sun now is really going to be delivering some things to us via the resonance and the solar flares. And if you're in an adaptation mode, an observation mode, you're mentally prepared to accelerate, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, but you've got to go, okay, now what? Okay, now what? So there's a need to track these energies they're coming through the sun. The central spiritual sun is behind that which we observe. That's like a physical representation of, this simulation. But really, there is something very powerful behind it. And it is a recoder. We've got to recode this reality to get, first of all, we've got to dissipate and we have to really the matrix that is controlling. The matrix is controlling. I'll use a matrix if I put the word crystalline in front of it, but the matrix or the control grid, not good. And this is why we are having all these projects, so we can come at it from different points of view. So then here's the dealio. At night, before you go to sleep, and I don't know how I did it once and it was really powerful. And then I get, I'm like, I'm tired. I've been working literally from 6:30 in the morning till 9:15 at night. Um, I just want to read a little bit. So I just close my eyes. But no, they're saying, turn out the light, turn out the light, and you're going to track the frequency that's right on top. You're going to track the frequency that's right on top. And it could have come from your day. It could have been that person who said that thing to you, or it could have been you feel overwhelmed or tired, or you didn't get everything done you wanted. But if there's a vibration there, okay, It doesn't have to be conscious. All you want to do is just settle into what is vibrating in your field, vibrating in your field. And you go and my way of doing it is to observe it and to shift into it and match it and just vibrate with it. Pulse with it, vibrate with it, vibrate with it, vibrate with it. And then all of a sudden those vibrations match and it releases. Okay? Then you look for another one. There could be up to five, unless you've had a really wrangly day. There could be more, but they're telling me to look for five entanglements. Some of them are not mine. Some of them are just vibrational things that are either in my field, people around me, people I treated, the planet, but they're vibrational. And you will learn, trust me on this, you will learn. You don't have to identify what they are. You will learn to go in like, oh, that uncertainty, there it is. I'm going to just vibrate with that uncertainty. Poof. Okay, now I feel a little anxious. I'm going to vibrate with it. Poof. See, we're trained to go away from emotions. Oh, poor thing, she's so sad. Let's go cheer her up. No, we have to vibrate with it to dissipate it so that it doesn't go into the controller's system. We have to stop feeding them. And we're going to do it very, very mindfully. Okay. So you look for those five entanglements from your day or your internal feed, or some of you, humanity's feed. You could look at the news and see something that happened and go, oh my God, and feel it because you are a compassionate human. And that could just stay with you. And then you flick to, something else in the news. So that might need to be cleared. Your compassion, your heartbreak from what's happening out there in 3D. So clear them from the place of the observer. And I I think it's just something you have to say, oh, Hundred, hi. I'm going to try. I've taught myself to do it. And I am going to really ask the frequencies coming in, the central spiritual sun, to teach you. And we will do some, we're going to do a piece of it tonight. So if you find a negative vibration, now if you feel joy and bliss, oh my God, celebrate it and just go, oh my gosh, bliss. Oh, I am bliss. I am joy. Yay. And then let that move out and let that guide you into your dream world. Okay. If you are having interesting dreams, if you're having interesting dreams, and then you come back in and you hit that wall, then you guys need to if that's happening to you, then you have to email me and then we have to collectively do something for that wall. And maybe we're going to do something like that tonight. So, we've got this balance. So at night we're clearing, we're then saying and this is what I do every morning, I wake up, I'm kind of half here, half there, and I open up like this to source harmonics. Or now the central spiritual sun, if you've got specific things for me, you got to tell me what they are and I will do them. But it's got to be either vibrational and then I follow that, or you have to give me specifics, sentences. Say yes to this every AM, so that's it morning, as you pronounce your one or two IMs. So yeah, you got to pick your IMs. You got to live them. You got to just say them 5 to 10 times before you get out of bed. And they'll shift. Today, mine is I am power, I am will. And I had to bust something, that thing, I had to bust and that thing's been plaguing me for a long time, unseen. Thank God we had our meeting, our full moon tonight, because that brought it out. I'm like, yes. And so celebrate those. Don't ever, ever put yourself down. This has been programmed into you. After you've done your IMs, and I do them until, watch this. I do them, they build up, and then all of a sudden my body goes like that and my eyes open to the day. I'm here, I'm ready to go. It's like instead of being sleepy and oh my God. No, boom, I'm here. You can do the same thing. And then before you get out of bed, just go, what do you want me to do today? I I end up helping people. And I'm going to tell you a really funny story. I'm still, so I went and usually I have something every Sunday that takes me till 11:30, and I didn't. And so I'm like, I'm going to go do a swim. And this swim was so easy because all this information was flowing through me. Instead of being like, oh, it's going to be over. No, I just did the whole mile. And I get out and I get all ready and everything. And I go into the reception area, and there's this guy there, and he's probably 88 or 89. He's almost 90. And he's out there every day, and he's playing tennis, and he's slender, and he lost his wife, and he was in a bad motorcycle accident. But no, he's there. He shows up. And I get up to leave, and he looks at me and he goes, Are you on your way to are you on your way to serve another soul? And I looked at him and I go, That's a very interesting question. And I didn't say yes or no. Well, I went home, got a bunch of stuff done, and then it's like, call so and so. And so I go, okay. And I had to serve her and her soul. It was right there. There was no like, just do it. And so things like that will leak through. You'll look down and there'll be one thing on a page. And uh you'll see that and you're like, oh my gosh, of course. So I want you to know that things are going to shift up as the uh as the well, I'm just saying from now until the end of August, it's going to get very interesting. And if you have that frame of mind, oh, what's it going to be? Oh, if you're curious, if you're open, if you're like signing up to serve, if you're ready to let go of your personal history, if you know you have to start conserving and storing up your personal energy, if you can just take those things in from tonight, it's going to be amazing because these little tiny things they're going to pop through. And I mean, there was other things that happened today where I'm like, whoa, I couldn't believe it. So little things, but when you see the little things, you have to go, okay. So with the pulse, this is incoming frequencies to up-level you and humanity. Prepare in your mind right now with me to accelerate your undoing of the 3D ego. It's like we don't have time for you to go to a therapist for the next 10 years. You just got to go, okay, this is it. I got to do it. Look for it. Look for those little things that pop up. Look for attachments. Someone didn't show up and you have a feeling about it and you feel a little like this, you go, no, I'm attached to whether that person does what I want them to do. So when you notice it, observe it. Just go, whoa, attached. No judging. Cannot judge yourself. No judging. You observe until it releases. Then you nod and say, yes, okay, we did it. You nod to yourself and you honor and you ignite your sovereignty. In other words, we we were trained to attach to people to survive, mommy and daddy, but we think we need it socially because if we're not part of a crew, then who are we? And I just read something that's said awakening people are those who are awakening, how they say it, are less inclined to want to go out and be social because we're having to accumulate our energy and to go out, especially where there's big crowds. You have to really shore yourself up so you don't leak that energy. And I was somewhere today, but I did not feel my energy leaked. It was a benefit. So everybody there was in that mode to give. And and it was outdoors and it was very well done. And really at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was to contribute something, you know. And it was so there are these really positive things. Next, once you ask, however you want to say it, Central Spiritual Sun, prepare. This is what they told me. Prepare for the reveal because it's going to come to you. It's not your guide, whispering in your ear. No, this is a pulse, a pulse, a pulse. And it's like programming your personal motherboard. And it's going to pulse in, it's going to pulse in, even if you're taking moments just to look out the window and receive energy, receive. We forgot how to receive. So we're receiving, and then there's going to be a point where something, and it might even be the next day, you know, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I mean, I had to write, usually I write one page, I had to write 2 pages and told me things about myself and things for tonight. So prepare for the reveal. It will give you info about what needs to go, what needs to be rewired, and what you are, because you need to start understanding that you're an eternal being, that you're embodied here, but you are not a peon anymore in the karmic cycle. No, you say bye-bye to the wheel of karma. You say, because what happens, look at all the people are doing really, really bad things. And you know why they did it? So people would come back so they wouldn't run out of humans to feed off of. Very, very clear. And the population gets more and more and more, no problem, because that means there's more division, conflict, etc. And we're seeing that now in such a big way. And this is why we have to really come into our own presence around this. So, absolve and resolve your personal history. That's just my history. I can't do anything about that. If it's really something, you can go back and redream it. What would have been really great if I would have done X, Y, and Z. Okay, no judgment. I'm just going to take a moment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I even had a dream where I redreamed something and then halfway through I'm like, "Oh, no, that's already happened." I remembered in the dream that something had already happened, but I was redreaming it in a new way. So I'm giving this to you as a possible template. And then claim your eternal self as complete and ready to serve. I'm going to give you a moment to do that right now. Claim your eternal self as complete and ready to serve, knowing that resonances are going to appear and you're going to go, yeah, that's my personal history. That's an attachment. That's old stuff. This will greatly prepare you for what's coming. next week. And the week after that, it's not like, oh, it's going to be in August. No, no, no. Shh. It's going to really start accelerating. And I have to, you know how I love to tell stories. So I have a hairdresser, and he's a guy, he's married, and he's a little bit into stuff, but not, like this. And so I decided, nope, I'm not going to tell him any of my woo-woo stuff. Nope. And last time I went in there was just very, very quiet and not, putting that on. And so right away, hey, how are you doing? How's your wife? How's your cat? How's your mom? Blah, blah, blah. Made conversation, directed him, and then he said, how are you doing? I'm like, I got stuff going on. And then so time went on, he goes, okay, okay, what are you sensing is really happening? I go, you sure you want to ask that question? And I gave him the lowdown. And he stood there while my hair was doing what it was going to do. And he was like, he took it in. And I think what's happening is people are sensing something is happening. Don't know how to put their thumb on it or point a finger to it yet, but they're getting that rumble. And your presence, if you do your IMs, you do your clearing, you do your IMs, your presence is gonna do that for people. Okay, now I'm not sure what meditation we're doing tonight, but I wanted to give you the lowdown about El Nino. Super El Nino. And it's already here, it's already happening. And I'm like, yeah, just like that La Nina those many years ago. I'm looking, at where I live, and really, if I don't know if you can see my pointer, but if you see in the US and the California coast, Santa Barbara it's interesting. It's not wetter than normal and it's not drier than normal. It's just kind of that little that little tick, south facing slope. That's us. And and then I'm going to look at, so a lot of that is kind of Mexico, et cetera. And I'm looking at the Western United States. And yes, we're going to work on that. And at the same time, I'm very, very concerned about the people in Africa and South America. If it's really, really hot and dry, and there and even uh parts of South Asia, Southeast Asia, Southwest, people are not getting fertilizer now. They're not getting fertilizer because of the war. If you don't have fertilizer and you have just hot, 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 or you have flood, 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 you don't have food. Those people need food. They're just people. They're they haven't done anything wrong. And so this is why I wanted to see as an experiment, which we have done before, which we've done before with La Nina and fires and wind reversal, etc. I have enough proof now that this works. I'm not in doubt, and I'm asking you not to be in doubt. So low rainfall is bad news. Too much rainfall is bad news. Fertilizer shortages, flooding, but we're not going to just see it now. It's going to be next year. And next year is really like going to be iffy. If we really get some shifts going, I'm hoping, praying, intending, um, intending with my will that we make a difference. And if you can, whenever you see that word, super El Nino, you go, not so bad, El Nino. You just say that out loud. So I just wanted to give you, because there's so many things in the news that I wanted to give us a kind of a heads up on it. Um, And here's the deal. Here's the bottom line. Uh, just be love. Just be love. So we're going to really ask that the guidance comes in solid state for us and to the best. Well, we're just going to see what happens. Not in my hands anymore. Okay. So take that injunction of just be love. And I know most of you. And as you're doing this, we're going to go love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. And as we're doing it, you may begin to feel the pulse. Love, 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 love. There we go. There's a very big wave of energy coming in now. It is very big, and it is a wave. And allow it, if you will, just even to move from the left to the right, to the left to the right. It has to rewire. It's kind of sloshing from over to the left and sloshing over to the right and back again. And the big reveal is you are love. As the one, you are love. But it's beyond our comprehension. That kind of love. You. You can relax. And so then there's this another way of coming through. It's called the illusion of separation. And it's going to come through and we're going to observe it. The illusion of separation. It's going to flash through, flash through. And collectively we observe it. And you just ask yourself, do I want to be separate from the one? Especially if it is a con. So now, because of your participation in this wiring, this reality wiring, this 3D construct is getting weakened. The whole one about us and them, you and me. As love, I am observing the illusion of separation, the construct. As love, I'm observing it. And a lot of that is in our left brain. That's where I'm seeing it. And then I hear, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Nothing to do. Right there. Okay. Something is clearing now. Thank you very much. And what I'm hearing is that when you can tap into, I am one, and I'm not separate from the one, how can I be separate from something that I am? And that's not a miracle because the one is the one. And so we're busting the ideology of separate from the divine. Again, a program to control and belittle and diminuate and things like that. And so it's not just, it's not your personal construct. It is a what is that we have been signed up as. There we go. I am now allowed to consider myself as one. And you know who's allowing you? You. I'm now allowing myself to be as one. I am now allowing myself to be as one. Weakening the construct by your presence. Yeah, I can see the threads of it. It's very interesting. So this is premise number 1 from the central spiritual sun. You are not separate. You are not separate. You are one. Now, okay, I just have to keep letting it. Creating a portal here. Because for the central spiritual sun to come through, it needs, shall we say, a table. We invite this frequency to our table and say, yes, 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 you're a welcome guest, and we are here to to see, really, it's just to see the true reality. Swirling. Interesting. I heard let there be peace. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Peace being a manifestation of oneness. And then finally, I'm being asked to say, please, please, please gently accept this experience expression as an upleveling. You just kind of, You can say, you may even say, I don't get all of this, but I'm willing to go down the road of I am one and to dispel the illusion of separation and separateness. So, separation from the one and separate from each other. All of us being manifestations of the oneness. And when you get that, the whole dream changes. Just like that. Oh, I am one with the one, and then I'm one with the other manifestations of the one, and that'd be you. Oh, oh, and you kind of pulse it again, pulsing the revelations as possibility. Right there, right there, right there, right there. You're allowed to be transformed as of tonight. And by the nature of the quantum, we are one because I don't feel separate from any of you. And why would I? Now, we undid and then we rewired. Do you see? So we busted the construct via the waveforms, if you would call them that, the pulses from the central spiritual sun coming through, very decoding, very precise, came through. We observed, observed, observed the illusion of separation, the illusion of separation, the illusion of separation. We just observe, 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 observe. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. There it is. Oh, how interesting. No judgment. There it is. There, phew. And then you fill the void with truth. I am one. It's the message. It fills in the void created when this con of separation gets busted. And I saw aspects of the grid break down. I witnessed that. So things, I can't even just put it into words, but then the truth came through. And I want you, even as we pull this together tonight, I want you to stay with, well, the oneness of us first. The oneness of us first. Kind of go, oh, so there were more than 13 of us because I know that some people are together. The oneness of us on the quantum, it's like, it's nothing. It's so easy. And you just get to take that with you. You get to absorb it. You get to take it with you. The oneness of us. I am one. And I am one with the one. And because you're the one and you're the one, well, I'm one with you. And then we're the one. And that's busting the construct. Yeah, it's busting the construct. Yeah. So we come down to then, the who and what we are. Mm-hmm. Well, we're one. Yeah, we're just one. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go into our namaste. I'm just going around. Yes. Yes. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love.